right now, let's come back to the book of 1 Kings chapter 8. 1 Kings chapter 8 at the dedication of what is called Solomon's temple. Beginning with verse 10. When the priests withdrew from the holy place, the cloud filled the temple of the Lord, and the priests could not perform their service because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled his temple. Another translation says the priests could not minister. This is what the essence of revival is all about. There are times in which God comes to his people, and his presence is so strong and so tangible that, forgive me, as pastors, we can't stand to minister. Now, there are people that try to fake it. I realize that, and I understand that, and I concede that point. But I've also been in services where it was the real thing. The presence of God was so strong. Remember how Jesus promised in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3, I'm coming quickly? And each one of those was a promise of his presence in revival. There are times that the presence of God comes so strong, and God reveals himself so strong, like when he revealed himself in the garden. Even Judas, possessed by Satan at the time, fell on his face before him. There are times that God reveals himself in such strength that even those who are used to the presence, they can't stand to minister. I remember services back in the mid and late 90s here at COP, and people criticized us for us, and I'm sure there was stuff that wasn't right that went on, please. I mean, everybody's learning, everybody's growing. But I also remember the services where people walked through the back of the auditorium, had never been here before, and they just fell on the ground. They said it's like they walked into a cloud of something, and it was so heavy they couldn't stand up, and they just fell on their faces. And I'm not talking one or two people, I'm talking hundreds of people. Those of you that are older, you remember those days. This is revival, God coming to his people. I challenge each of you as a Christian today to begin to get hungry and thirsty for the presence of God. I believe that God is going to come to his church in strength in these last days before the rapture. And the church is going to be so empowered and so conscious and so aware of the reality of God. Church is no longer going to be an entertainment thing with lights and smoke machines. You don't need smoke machines. You'll have the real glory of God. You don't need performance because the reality of God will be there. And as the church experiences the reality of God, we will go out and touch a world in his name like we've never touched a world before. I challenge you. Let's dream and fast and pray for these days.